Hello, everybody. This is Oliver G from the Earful Tower podcast, coming to you from Paris. And if I ask you to picture in your head a French alcoholic drink, you'd probably be thinking about wine, maybe champagne, maybe cider. But what if we take it a little bit stronger? Yeah, sure, you're probably going to be thinking about Calvados or cognac or Cointreau or absinthe. The list goes on and on and on. But one thing that you might not think about even nearly immediately, maybe not at all, is gin. Gin might just be going through its renaissance right now. And I met two young guys who are making it in Paris. And they've got a cool story and a cool place. So I want to introduce it to them. First, the background. Just like last week with the chocolate, this artisanal shop and workshop is in the archways of the Viaduc des Arts in the 12th arrondissement. If you missed last week's show, this used to be a train line running through the east of Paris, basically. And in the 90s, they made a sort of a beautiful green walkway on top, and they filled the archways below with crafts people. And so this is a big part of the 12th arrondissement, these craftsmen and women, and it's no different today. So where we're basing this chat today, 55 Avenue Daumesnil, the place is called the Distillerie du Viaduc. I'll say it in French and then English. Distillerie du Viaduc, the distillery of the viaduct would be the English translation. All the links to them will be below. This place is co-run by Theo and Quentin. Theo and Quentin, they do classes. They're both experts. They take it very seriously, and they're doing it with a strong look at their sort of eco footprint, as you're going to hear from Quentin, our guest for today. That'll do for an intro. Here comes Press Maxon with some more music for you lucky Earful Tower listeners. Take it away, Press. I'll be back at the end of the episode with a little more info as usual. Let's do it. Hello, Quentin. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Do you prefer it when people call you Quentin or Quentin?
In English, Quentin. In French, it's Quentin.
Quentin. Okay, we'll mix between the two for this interview. But there's a lot I want to talk about, including gin, obviously. Okay. But I think the first question that I want to sort of settle on, what's it like being in such a big room every day? Is it like, do you get used to it?
It's actually pretty cold. People don't recall this, but it's made of stone, and the stone keep the cold. It's like being in a fridge. Right. And we have actually no heat because you can see it right now. But the length between the ground and the top is 8 meters, so it's like you can't heat a place like this.
Right.
So in winter we had like 6 degrees inside of the distillery. So when you stay all day long up selling gin in 6 degrees, you're a bit cold.
Wow. Is that the same like with all your neighbors? Do they all have the same problem? Do you guys meet up at the end of the day and go, oh my God, it's cold today?
Yeah, we don't meet up like this, but actually the distillery, you have to open wide open when you distill the windows and everything, so it's colder here than some other workshops.
And you've been here since what's been like almost a year?
Yeah, we opened actually in June 2022, sorry. Yeah. So it's been like 10 months.
Okay. So you're pretty new. I mean, I know that some people have been here for like a long time in this viaduct.
Yeah, ages actually.
Are you the newest?
Yes, but not for long. There is actually a winemaker which will open in 2 or 3 months just right next to our door.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Is that competition?
It's not competition. It's more like the next step, distilling the wine. We can maybe do like some brandy or some vermouth or loads of stuff. There's loads of collaboration to
imagine. Maybe eventually every single one will be a different alcoholic drink, and it will be like the biggest bar crawl in the whole of Europe.
We hope so. Maybe a brewery soon also. So it could be very nice. Yeah.
So before we get into gin and everything that you guys do, I want to talk a little little bit about this 12th arrondissement.
Yeah.
The intriguing 12th arrondissement. As I understand this set of buildings that you're in and that everybody else is in, that was a part of an effort to preserve this craftsmanship of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Is that something that you, like, do you agree with that? Is that something that we still see in the 12th?
Historically, the 12th is a place of craftsmanship in Paris, and also a place of booze, actually, because like people don't know, but before the train was lots of use. For every transportation, the main transportation was the boat, and the biggest harbor for wine transportation was in the 12e arrondissement, so the 12th, near Bercy. Maybe you know the Bercy Arena for the concert place. Here was the biggest harbor of booze in France.
So in the 12th arrondissement on the Seine River, a little bit further to the east was the biggest harbor for booze. Okay.
So loads of liquor seller, distributors, importer were settled here, and also stockless. Oh, I can't tell it in English, but in French it's called a chai. It's where you put the barrel to age and to conserve it. Right. Loads of chai were in the 12th, and it's also loads of craftsmanship, woodworker, because of course there was loads of barrel, woodworker, ship worker, everything linked with the transportation, the booze, and lots of work linked to all this sector were implemented in this arrondissement.
Right, so that's pretty fascinating because it shows that, maybe the town hall was quite happy to have you guys here because it's like the connection back to the old days of Paris.
Yeah, true. They were really happy to have us because we're located in the Viaduct of the Arts, in French, Viaduc des Arts. It was historically it was a train line between Place de la Bastille and Château de Vincennes, but with the becoming of the metro, it went out of use, of course. Then it became a bit in ruin. But in the 90s, the city of Paris renewed it, and under every arc there is a different craftsman, and upstairs you can have a long walk until from Bastille to Château de Vincennes.
Have you done that whole walk before?
I've done half of it.
It's actually 5 kilometers, right?
It's 5K. Yeah. Lots of people run on it actually to go to Vincennes. But you have a nice walk both ways. You can go up the bridge from the one way and down the bridge to see the craftsman the other way.
That could be a good walking tour actually for the tourists. I'm thinking here. So I'm curious. I always think it's interesting how anything ever happens in Paris, because usually the town hall, the Hôtel de Ville, can be quite difficult with, traditionally paperwork, opening new things. Like, that's famous. Paris is famous for that. So how did two young guys from Nantes convince the town hall, or was that the easy part? Is it hard to get are these hard to get, these places?
These places These places are quite hard to rent. It's actually you have to do a lot of paperwork, presentation, business plan, everything to be sure you're not renting just like a crazy guy trying to rent something and putting other people out of the way just because your project is cool. So they look really hard into, are you financially sustainable and your company will work or not. And then you have to be a craftsman, of course. And they also look at if you will be in competition with the other craftsmen around you, because they really want to put the sector up and not put competition between the craftsmen.
Right. So when you presented your document, they were like, "Yep, let's go, lads, let's do it."
Actually, it was a long wait because we were not involved into the selection process. We just send the paperwork, and we heard 1 week before knowing we won. We just had a final interview, we went in the shortlist. We just did an interview with very typical question, for example, we need gas to burn and heat and distill. There was no gas connected, so we had to put all the paperwork to see. We've looked at it, how it was manageable, all the technical part, all the housework we were going to do to make the displaced into a distillery and it was secure. But they trust us really easily on it. Yeah.
Did you get to meet the mayor?
We actually meet the mayor of the 12th arrondissement, but not the mayor of Paris.
So what? It's a woman in the 12th, right?
Yeah, it's an ecologist, and also maybe it helped because what we put forward is the really traditional way of distilling. Maybe people doesn't know it, but at least in France, the distillery was really famous for in the countryside not to waste some fruit, like you had too much pear on your trees before it rots. Not to make them rot, sorry. You put them in a barrel to ferment, and then you will distillate, and you will have a pear brandy.
Okay, well now that's perfect. You brought us onto the topic of gin. Let's stay on this topic. I want the room that we're sitting in. There's a bit of a gin smell. I can smell it. Does that stay on your clothes?
You actually seated next to 300 liters of gin. That's why.
Is that what I can smell? Is it specifically that one?
Yeah.
Do you feel, does it stick on your clothes at the end of the day?
Actually, maybe, but maybe I'm not the best people to say it because I don't really realize it.
Sure. Well, let's talk about. I'm interested from your perspective of what you do, but also from a sort of more nationwide perspective. This is a country famous for
wine and spirits, yeah.
Wine first, right?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if you think spirits in France, I think maybe a lot of people would think about cognac,
brandy, Calvados, Armagnac. Yeah.
So there's a list before we get to gin.
Yeah.
Is gin popular in France? Is it having a revolution?
Yeah, actually, yeah. It's like like many other country, gin is becoming very popular in France. Like for example, not as much as Spain, which is a very famous for gin country, but France is going into it, and French are easy to big spirit drinkers. Sorry, so when they like something, they buy it a lot in big quantities. So they.
You mean each person? Like when they like gin, they come in and buy 8 bottles? Is that what you mean?
No, but like regularly, they will buy one bottle by one bottle. But when they like to try stuff, the wine learns you one thing is like. Every area, every region, every taste is different, and the producer has also influence in the taste. So you want to taste many different stuff. So maybe we have this, the French people into like a wine or spirit or anything. We love to talk about taste. Loads of culture when they make fun of French. Of course, we're arrogant, but also they can they can tell. They say we can tell about what we've ate like 2 weeks ago for hours. It's maybe a bit like this. So we love the different tastes. So when gin is the perfect drink for this, like there is so many recipes, so many stuff to do to influence on the taste. Gin is the essence of one way of doing things, but many different tastes. So maybe this is why gin is becoming popular in France too.
And what is that? What attracts you to gin? Is there more to it? Why do you think of it?
To be honest, what we really like in the distillery with the gin is like the link that can be done with cooking. Usually, distilling is like seen as a bit mystical, like something weird happened, but we don't know why. What we do when we explain, we make loads of parallels with cooking. It's actually making a cake recipe. It's almost the same, or to be more accurate, with a sauce in cooking. Yeah.
So you're saying distilling gin is like making a sauce for cooking, basically?
Yeah, it's just like when you make a sauce, you want to reduce and take the most out of the water, and what's still in your pot is like the essence of it. Making gin is different. You want to extract the essence, and but basically the mindset is the same.
This reminds me of making perfume.
Yeah, it's the pot still are used to make perfume, essential oils, and alcohol, but it's the same machinery, so the same mindsets.
Have you read that book or seen that movie, Perfume?
No, I don't.
Oh, you should read it. It's like a murder. It's like a murder story based in France.
Nice.
No, I don't know if it's nice. It's kind of crazy. But let's talk. There's certainly people at home listening to us talking.
Yeah.
Who have no idea how to make gin. No idea whatsoever.
Okay.
Can you walk me through it?
Yeah, there is like two main rules to make gin. The first rule is like you need a neutral alcohol, so it can be from whatever you want, so grain, beetroot, wine, beer, anything, but it has to be distilled up to 96%. So when the alcohol is 96%, there is no taste at all. It's only pure alcohol, and that's a perfect basis to infuse the taste you want to put in. Mm-hmm. So that's the first rule. And the second rule is to give juniper taste. The juniper taste has to be the dominant taste, but this is very subjective. And the way of doing it, you can do whatever you want. You can put like artificial flavors. You can put like botanicals. You can do maceration of the botanical. You can distill the botanical. You can do both ways. You can do all the ways. There is so many rules or different ways to do it. That's why there is so many different gins and so many big range price between the gins, because you can use, of course, only cheap alcohol and cheap aromas, fake aromas. Eugene is going to be cheap. If you like put lots of intention of your sourcing, the botanicals, the alcohol, how it's made, of course, it's going to be more expensive.
And when you say botanicals, what do you mean?
Botanicals are the plants you will put in a gin to give the taste.
So what example?
The first one there is in every gin is the juniper berry, for example. That's one botanical. Then what we do in this distillery, we use only French and organic botanical. That's our sourcing. Maybe the creative borders we fixed us, not because we are like we say France is better for everything. It's just like we try to do our best to reduce our carbon footprint. So we took what's the closest of us.
Is that why you also don't have heating in here to keep?
No, because actually, like, we are not giving any lessons to anyone to hit the pot still you burn gas. So
right, sure, fair enough.
Yeah.
So do you are you like experimenting with lots of different flavors here, or have you sort of found the flavors that you like and that's what you're trying to sell? Like, what's the purpose? Are you hoping to sell lots of bottles, or? No,
actually, the purpose is like to stay very not small base, but human base or human scale. Sorry, to the distillery. We need to be like to be paid enough and to work consistently. We need to sell between 7,000 and 10,000 bottles. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot, but it's really per year. Yep. So it's a lot. If you just see the figures, but some brands are like hundreds and hundreds or millions of bottles, so it's really accessible to us, what we think. And so we want to keep it like a small, but really dedicated to the taste and the story we can tell around. Yeah. And do you ship the bottles like abroad, or is this here? We just opened, so for the moment it's just France. Right. But what we still the way of not like traveling around the world with the botanicals and all the different alcohol and everything. We fixed ourselves not to go across the Atlantic or not too far. We fixed to the European borders. It can be UK or it can be like I don't know, countries not in the EU, but the geographical part of Europe, like not to be too far. So for any Americans or Australians listening to this, they better have to come to Paris if they want to taste the gin. Or find a place maybe somewhere else in Europe where it's sold. Yeah. Speaking of tasting the gin, I'm interested in like when I bought a bottle here the other day. Yeah. I haven't tasted it yet, but you said drink it by itself or add tonic. Yeah. People don't usually drink gin by itself, do they? No, really not. Some gin are really made to be like not mixed, sorry. That's why they're really dry. One thing the same... The little kids walking past, that's all right, we can continue. The same in every of our spirits. It's really something that we look for in the taste. We want that every spirit we make can be drink neat. Because that's the essence of the taste of what we made. So all of our gins are drinkable neat, no problem. But we're not like a purist, even if we're French, we're trying not to be arrogant with our spirits. So you can drink with tonic, with a Coke if you want. You do whatever you want, as long as you like it. I'm kind of interested, before we go and taste that gin that's sitting over there,
That's twice now that you've mentioned French people being arrogant.
Because I actually have two brother-in-law. One is American, one is Scottish. So I know about like cliché about the French.
Right. But do you agree with that?
Of course not.
Fair enough. Okay, shall we taste this gin?
Yeah,
And you
sure.
tell me what. Let's walk over here. And you, out of interest, like if you were blindfolded now, I know that you know what your own gin tastes like.
Yeah.
But is it very clear for you when you drink like a supermarket bottle of cheap gin?
Yeah.
It's immediately that's disgusting kind of thing.
No, it's not disgusting. I would say like every drink and price has his like own drink occasion. Mm-hmm. Like if it's 3 a.m. in a nightclub and with your friend, I don't want like to spend like $50 in a drink. So no, of course not. There's like if on the opposite for a Christmas night after a good dinner, yeah, you want a good gin. So no, there's like different occasion, different products. It's like everyone has its own way to do it.
So do you kind of like force gin onto your family and friends a little bit now that you've got this place?
A bit, yeah.
When people say to you, are you going to bring some wine? And you're like, you know what? Gin is kind of getting
Well,
really...
I really like wine too, you know, I'm French, but usually I bring a bottle and people say, okay, let's have a gin where it was not like planned. And but they become open and no. Actually, if I come without a bottle, I get like told off, yeah, because I'm supposed to bring bottle of gin.
Wow, that's become you now. It's
I'm
bigger
Mr.
than
Gin
you.
in the family, yeah.
Okay, so what have we got here? What are we going to look at?
We're looking at the little tray we have with all our drinks that are on free tasting if you come to visit us, because we think it's really important to taste what you want to buy, because it's like, you know, it's taste. For everyone it's personal, so it's not judging of what we do or if you like or don't like. It's just like we want you to buy something you like, so we make taste everything. It's part of the process. When like you buy shoes, you try them on. It's the same for gin.
It makes sense, yeah, okay.
So what we're looking for is like maybe our classic gin, the one we sell the most, is like the one we make to be the more accessible in terms of taste. Mm-hmm. It's like really fresh, really herbal, and a bit citrusy too. Mm-hmm. What we've done is like...
I know it's audio, I know.
Yeah. So it's a gin, like the main botanicals are juniper berries, of course, verbena leaf, coriander seed, and citrus peel.
What was the second one? The leaf?
Verbena.
What's verbena?
Verbena, it's really used in like tea infusion in France. No, just infusion because there's no tea in it. Like when you want to digest or everything, it's really a bit citrusy and very herbal. It grows usually in the mountains.
And did you, like, with these ingredients, was this stuff that you experimented, or were these recipes, or?
The process where we create a recipe is always the same. It's like we distill every botanical separately. This way is like if you go to the ice cream shop, you have like all the perfumes around it and
flavors.
Yeah, the flavors you can choose. So we distill whenever we see different new botanical we want to try, we distill separately, and then we have like we try to, if we want to work on this specific botanical, we will try then to find a balance with other botanicals, good taste, which work, which doesn't work. We do a lot of try, and where we're happy of the blend, we do it like everything together to see if the balance is still good, because sometimes it can change when it the maceration, the distillation of the plants are together, it can change. So if we're happy with the blends and the balance, we do it in big size.
You guys are like scientists.
It's not science, it's like cooking. Like, actually, loads of science happens when you distill and everything, but we really don't care about it. Actually, we suck at science.
And do you guys do like courses or anything where you teach?
Yeah, we do like a little workshop. We have a tiny pot still, and you can distill, like, you will distill. It's actually exactly what I've described to make a recipe. You will distill one botanical, so you will manage your own distillation, touch the pot still heating, taste the 90% alcohol coming out of the pot still to see the difference between infusion, distillation, and mixed, all the different tastes you can have, and then you do all the add-on you can do with different flavors. And when you're happy with your recipe, you do it in big, and you go with your. You go back out of the workshop with your little 20 centiliters of your gin. And you can say, that's mine.
How much does it cost to do that workshop?
It's €90 and it lasts like 2 hours and a half.
Do you do it in English as well?
Not yet, because we always we have loads of French doing it. But maybe if you want to book a specific time or place, you can write us down. And
maybe after this episode, you have some English speakers coming in here. Okay, let's try this gin. How do I'm nervous to do it in front of you in case there's some. In fact, I get the feeling you're probably pretty laid back about how someone drinks a gin. But I know with wine, there are lots of rules, and even coffee when they're doing the cupping. And stuff.
No. For the spirit, when you drink spirit in general. It's like wine for smelling and everything. But when you drink, usually when you drink wine, people say to try to aspire as maximum air you can to make the wine breathe in your mouth. With spirit, you don't do this, because if you do this, you will increase the burn on your tongue.
Okay, so I just drink just a sip.
Yeah, you just like if you want to be sure, you exhale and then you drink.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm smelling it first. Definitely juniper.
Yeah, thank you.
What was it first? Exhale first. Hang on.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. And this is the there's like an aftertaste to it. But to be honest, I don't really drink gin by itself ever.
Yeah.
So now I'm curious to taste other ones and compare.
Yeah, what we...
Not here, I'm not trying to get free gin.
You can have free gin if you want. It's the time of the year you can try. It's like the wine, when you have like sommelier describing taste like, cherry, blackcurrant and everything. You can have this in the gin. It's like even more easy to understand because there's really botanicals. In the wine, it's the grape that can taste like a bit of blackcurrant or grapefruit. This is the real fruit or the real plant, so you will have all these different tastes.
Does that mean that it's like when you taste wine, I know that it's almost impossible to be incorrect. Like you can say, there's blackcurrant, and they go, yeah. But here maybe
Well, yeah, sometimes you can say it tastes like citrus and there's no citrus in it. But for example, verbena is a bit citrusy. We put citrusy thyme in this gin, so it could be citrusy even without citrus,
I also like with the bottle, cuvée.
Oh yeah, that's the batch and number of bottle, yeah.
Okay, number 3, and each bottle is individually labeled.
Yeah.
I love it.
At least for now, because it's a long time spent to write every bottle. So maybe if we become more popular, there will only the batch written by hand, because everything is bottled by hand now, and it's taking us a lot of time. But yeah, what we try to say when we handwrite everything on the bottle is like we are not robots, we're human, and between every batch, even if it's the same recipe, it can vary a little bit, because it's like even a great chef with the same recipe one day, on the other day the taste is not exactly the same. It's the same with gin or spirits. It's really close from cooking.
Well, I've found this to be a fascinating conversation, Quentin. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge with me and with all the listeners back home. And best of luck. I mean, it's a new business, your first year. I hope it really succeeds.
Yeah, we touched some wood. I don't know if it's an
I've got my
expression.
touch wood. I'll touch wood. And hopefully, if people who've listened to this show come in, you want them to come and say hello to you?
Yes, please come. We'll be delighted to talk to you, to make taste the gin and the different food we have.
Thank you very much, Quentin.
Thanks to you.
So there you have it, Quentin, aka Quentin from the Distillerie du Viaduc. I loved it in there. I bought a bottle. I'm happy to say I bought a bottle. Tasted delicious. It's almost empty. Not that I drank it all by myself. I had some good friends over to partake in it with me, and we all gave it great reviews. So there you go. It gets the Earful Tower tick of approval. Fun story too. a little while after, I was walking along this promenade on the top, the Coulée Verte, the Promenade Plantée, and I was with my wife, and suddenly I said, "Can you smell that gin? Is that gin?" And then I looked up on my phone at the map, and it turned out I was standing exactly over the top of this distillery. So if you ever find yourself walking on that promenade on the top, and you think you can smell gin, take the stairs down and go and say hello to Quentin and Theo. Or do a course. I plan to do a course there. It sounds like a lot of fun. Now, a big thank you to all the Patreon supporters, patreon.com/the Earful Tower, for making this show happen. I plan to do videos along the top of that walkway, hopefully in the distillery, hopefully in the chocolate shop. If you're a hungry audience for it, I will do it. And of course, you get a bunch of extra bonuses when you sign up, like my guides to Paris. A final word, the Earful Tower tours, the walking tours, they're taking off, I must say. We're getting a lot of people getting in contact and booking. Charlotte, who's been doing most of the tours, has been sharing them on social media. And I don't know, the reaction's been great. So I'll leave it like this. If you're coming to Paris and you're thinking to book a walking tour, don't be ridiculous and book something from some website you've never even seen before. You know the Eiffel Tower by now. If you like it, you can imagine that the tours are going to be up your alley. And what's more, you're supporting your favorite podcast in the process. So theeiffeltower.com/tours, more information there. I will be back again next week with another episode. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks to Eddie for editing it. Thanks to Press for the music. And thanks to Quentin at the Distillerie du Viaduc for being our guest this week. Merci beaucoup, everybody, and au revoir.